Hello there. In this lesson, in this video, we're going to show you how you can create an Enneper curve ring and add a round gem mounting to the top of it. So if you start Fluid Designer up, first thing you want to do is to go to the rings folder, and we're going to use an existing object, an Enneper curve. So it's this one that I'm going to use in this lesson, and if you just drag and drop that onto the workspace, and I'm just holding down the center mouse button there, just rocking it to show you what it looks like. So there's the basic outline of the Enneper curve, and at the moment the thickness of this, it's set to a cross-sectional diameter of 1. If you were going to thin out this curve at the bottom and make it more stylish, it was a good idea to actually increase this size to 1.5 millimeters. So I'm going to do that just to show you the difference it makes. So cross-section diameter 1.5, so that just thickens it up a little bit. The other thing that we might want to do is to change the inner diameter. The default diameter at the moment is 15 millimeters or thereabouts. That's the yellow curve that you can show there. If we just remove that, and if we set it as a size of let's say size P plus 18.14, so we now need to modify this Enneper curve so that the inside of it fits just on that UK size P plus curve. So if we select the Enneper object again and go to the modifiers, so we want the modifier which says set the ring size. So it was originally at the inner diameter, the default size. We want UK size P plus. And if we just double check that, it's not 100% there just yet. So what we can do is, if we just go view and top, you can see particularly there that it's just a little bit off, but that's not a problem. If we just press the tab key and go to edit mode, and you can see what's happening. The bottom of this curve needs to be lined up with the red line. Now at the moment the snap is on, so if I move that upwards it'll jump 1 millimeter at a time. So I need to switch the snap off and just zoom in as close as you can and just move it up until the bottom of the object is just in line with the x-axis, and then I'm going to switch the snap back on. And if we press the tab key to come out of edit mode now, you can see that the Enneper curve is in fact now lined up nicely with UK size P plus. That's this curve here. So we now need to increase the size of this Enneper curve. Well, we do that by changing the columns. At the moment there is a count of 3. Okay, so that's the just one of the objects, so we can just increase that. If we increase it to 4, yeah, that should be okay. So we're going to leave this gap at the bottom of the ring. So yeah, that's our basic curve now. So if we just view that from the top, we'll rotate it a little bit later on, but the next thing that we want to do now is, because we're going to add a round gem to this, we need a mounting. And if we just click group library there, and we're looking for gem settings with 4 prongs, and we're going to look for the round mounting. So yeah, this is the object that we're going to use, and if we drag and drop that onto the workspace, our Enneper curve will disappear. Alright, but basically it's the 4-prong 10 millimeter round gem setting that we want, and we're going to add it to this object by doing File and Append. And if we just go up through the menu system, we want gem settings 4-prong, and we want the round one, and it's the object, or objects in this case, that we're going to need to add to our existing one. So we want the claws, inner and outer, and the 4-prong ring round section, and we're also I'm going to bring in the round, which is the gem itself. I don't want to actually bring in the ring or any of these UK sizes or cross sections. So if we append those from the library, you can see that there's our gem. Now what you can see here is that the original Enneper curve is quite a bit wider than that. So I think what we'll do is we'll narrow it up a little bit, and the way to do that is if we set the count down to 1, and then just to view it from the front, I think. Yeah, if we view it from the front, if we press the tab key to go into edit mode, now you can see all the control points are actually highlighted. So what I want to do is I want to scale it. I want to make it narrower in the Z direction. The blue arrow is the Z direction. So if I press S on the keyboard for scale, and I want to only scale it in the Z direction, so I'm going to press Z on the keyboard, so you can see that the blue Z axis appears. And if I just move the mouse, you can see that I can scale it, and I just need to decide on where I want to put it. Well, I'm going to leave it there, I think. Okay, and so that's narrowed my ring now, cross section of the ring, and I can come out of edit mode by pressing the tab key on the keyboard. Now whenever you're scaling Fluid Designer, always do Control A and apply the scale. And we just need to double check that that's still in line on the bottom, which it is. And we now need to change the count. So we put the count back in. So we've got a count there of 4. So if we view that from the top, now I will rotate it a little bit later on. But what I'm going to do now is adjust the settings here. So I'm selecting the prong there, and if I just press the tab key to go into edit mode, I can just move that prong up until it's in the middle there, and press the, well, I'm just going to rock the object around just to see where it is. Okay, the height's right. I know it's not in line with the ring at the moment, but that's all right. So I'm just going to view it from the view it from the top again, and I want to select the inner object as well now, and press the tab key and select the control point at the bottom, and I'm just going to move that up and reposition that. Okay, so we can come out of edit mode there. Now before I finalize the position of these prongs, what I'm going to do is select the Enneper curve and view it from the top. I keep getting this the wrong way around, don't I? Now I need to rotate this curve around so that it's positioned properly at the bottom here. And there's a number of, well, actually I don't need to rotate it. There's a number of different ways that I can position this. If I press the tab key and go into edit mode, if I change the X median, you can see I'm moving the curve to the right. Now let me just see whether, yeah, that's the right thing. So I'm trying to get this gap at the bottom even. So I'm just moving it to the right, and you can see it's not quite there yet. Just try it a few more times. I've probably gone a bit too far now. So I'm just keep switching from edit mode to normal mode, and so yeah, I've got that now in the center. So that should tell me whether or not the position of these are okay at the top. The bottom of the prongs, well, they're not quite right, so I need to go to the prong and go into edit mode there, and I just need to position the prong now so it's in the right place. If you need to fine-tune, you may need to switch the snap off. I haven't in this case, so that one's looking okay. I will in fact switch it off, and let me just pull it up. Now you do need to make sure that it just goes inside the object. You don't want it sticking out of the bottom, that'll cause problems. You don't want gaps at the top. So yeah, that's okay, that's just in there now. So I do need to position the other inner claw here. So if we press the tab key, so I need to move this one across now and line it up with the first one, and I need to make sure that this is fitting inside the object as well. It's not quite inside there. That looks better. And now all I need to do is to try and line those up neatly. So let me see, where are we? Let's view it from the right. See how it looks. Yeah, that doesn't look too bad. It looks kind of, they both look straight with each other. So that's viewing it from the right. If I view it from the front again, view it from the top again. And yeah, that's looking pretty good, I think. Maybe I just do need to move this one slightly. So I'm going to select both of them and just move it out. Yeah, that's actually better. Now I can see that that's in line very well. I'll just move the top down slightly so that it's inside that ring at the top there. Yeah, I think that's looking pretty good now. Okay, so it's just a case of playing around with those two prongs until you get them in the right sort of position. We've sized up the bottom, so yeah, everything's looking okay there. So if we just view it from there, so yeah, there's our finished ring now with a round mounting. Now we wouldn't want to print this object, so I would highlight that and then delete it. And now what you've got to do is to just make sure that you change everything into meshes. And change the ring itself into a mesh. And then what we want to do is to join them all together. Now do make sure that you select all the objects, join the objects at the top together first of all, and then join them to the actual ring itself. And let's just switch the snap back on, and let's just make sure everything's moving as it should. And there we are. There's our Enneper curve ring with a mounting at the top for a gem, and the prongs can be folded over once the gem is put in place. Now I left the gem size there as the default size is 10mm, so that should be for a 10mm gem. If you've got a different size gem, obviously you've got to resize this first of all before you start doing anything else. So there we are. Yeah, there's our Enneper curve ring, suitable for a round gem. And that's it. Yeah, thanks.